All right. So, well, happy Friday out there. Welcome to another Fireside Friday here, brought to you by the Delaware Entrepreneurial Center at Ohio Wesleyan University. I'm your host, your MC, Steve Flaherty. Today, joined by a guy that I've known quite a long time. I guess we go back to high school days. So, business owner, but more importantly, just an inspirational story so that you don't want to miss. So, tune in here with us. Feel free to engage live with us as we talk. So we'll pull comments up there, and yeah, looking forward to it. So let's dive in here. All right. Well, happy Friday. So again, welcome to Fireside Fridays. Today, our guest is Kyle Zelazny. Kyle is originally from Westerville, Ohio, where my hometown is. We both went to Westerville South High School, played football for a little bit before I left, and Kyle went on and rose through the ranks and became a superstar at Westerville South and played collegiate football. But Kyle, welcome to Fireside Fridays here.
Yeah, thanks, Dave, man. Nice to have me.
So, well, we always like to kind of start off, I know, give a little bit of intro there, but just kind of like origin story. So, kind of where you got started. I mean, generally we have, business people on here and such that have built companies. I know you've built a few, but just kind of, just that original origin story of, how you got started and where it's been and where you're at now. And then we'll dive deeper.
Yeah, man. I mean, as I said, we went to high school together, so graduated Westville South. I ended up going to Ashland University and played football through there until 2007, graduated. As you and I know, in that time, the job market was pretty terrible, and you couldn't be on your parents' health insurance when you're 22 after you graduated school. So you're kind of like in a scramble, like, hey, man, I need a job. Like, what do I need to do? Like, I got to get somewhere. I found a job in Chicago and was like, hey, I don't have a lot going on. I just graduated school. Like, let's make the move. So, that started at a retirement home. So Friendship Village, Schaumburg, rehabbing and exercising with the old people. And it was fun. It was good. It was a job. I had health insurance, but it definitely wasn't like the most inspiring career. I was just doing it until I could save and build a business and meet enough people. And I eventually opened my own fitness studio in 2012, so 5 years. And we did that and built it. And in 2018, we started another Park Ridge Pickups, just kind of an idea on my lunchtime. And, picking up, delivering, moving stuff for people. And it really boomed into an operation where right now we have 3 crews out every single day. We have pickup truck, we have dumpsters, the 2 businesses that are really self-sustaining, and I can hang out and I'm here talking to you and I'm not in the field killing myself every day, which, you get to the point and when you can't do that anymore, whether it's just from age, whether in my case, an injury, and, going from there.
Yeah. Well, and so that original business, that you started, I mean, when you're analyzing that, I know you kind of had, an athlete yourself. I remember you in the weight room, right? I mean, you putting in the extra reps, even pushing me, throwing like, hey man, come on, you can do a little bit more. So had that natural, coaching, type thing. But when you're looking at starting a business, it's a whole different adventure. And I guess going on your own versus, buying into a franchise system, right? Mm-hmm. What was your decision making in that process when you're looking at it from the outside?
Yeah. So one thing I always tell any new business owner, is you really want to kind of build like a network that you have and people, so they know about your business. That's always a good way to get started. And then personally, I just took money that I saved and I found a couple of other gyms going out of business. I found things online and I was able to buy like top notch hammer strength, Rogue Fitness, like, these type of equipment And I just stockpiled it and saved it and saved it and saved it to where I was able to open a business with having an established clientele, taking on minimal debt, and putting myself into a position where, I could be successful without necessarily having to open a business and, people running in the door every single day. And I wasn't in a lot of debt to do that. And, fast forward a few years to the Corona, it closes everything down immediately. And, I'm one of a few gyms left, right? A lot of gyms are closing, and restaurants and various things. And, if you have a huge mortgage or debt or credit card bill or something like that, and, it might be great, but then, if the cash flow slows down, you're really going backwards in a hurry. And I've just always really been very adamant about not incurring a lot of debt while trying to grow and sustain your businesses.
Yeah. So, well, and I mean, dealing with all that, the Corona virus is something that no one could predict, right? And
right.
When you've got a business that literally requires a physical location,
right.
I mean, that throws a whole new wrench into things. So, and to your point, I mean, the overhead of going, too big, as opposed to, I think, kind of what your philosophy, let the business build the business.
Right.
I mean, strategy wise, I mean, did you do it differently when you started pickups, Park Ridge Pickups, or?
So Park Ridge Pickups, man, it's a funny thing. It's a business that actually, so I already owned a pickup truck. Okay. I live in Park Ridge, so I just thought Park Ridge Pickups, like, we pick stuff up, we deliver it. You buy a couch online, we'll go pick it up for you. You need bushes, we'll pick them up for you. We'll go to Home Depot, all these places, and I already own the truck, so I was able to do it on my lunch break. I spent zero money. I made a Facebook page that was free. I already have a huge network because I own a gym, and I just had all my friends in town share it and start telling their friends, printed off some cards and handing them out. And, I mean, it sounds weird. It's almost like laughable now. At the beginning, I thought, man, if I could make $500 or $600 a month here and there doing some stuff, like, right. Yeah, that's pretty good extra money, And then it turned into, $500 or $600 a week. And I was like, oh yeah. And then it's $500 or $600 a day. And then you're like, man, I'm really onto something. I've spent no money other than some flyers, and I mean, I didn't even pay for Facebook ads. We paid a little bit here and there, but and we said, hey, you know what? This is obviously a working business model. Let's expand. I took the money I was even making, I wasn't even spending that, and bought a van with it. And so we expanded to our first cargo van, and kind of said, hey, these are the tools we're going to need to do all the jobs we need. This is what needs to be in the van. We're going to stock it. We're going to put stickers on it. It's going to look super cool. Got it done. And, 6 months later, that van was paid off, and we're buying another van. And the same thing, started over doing that, and just paid off that van. And, and then we go, man, like we're really jamming. Like we need another one. So we just bought a third one. So, I mean, we're buying them, and we're just, but I've kept the same strategy from the whole time. I said, if it was to slow down, if I'm to have a slow month, if something were to happen, originally it would say, yeah, this would be great. Let's buy 10 vans. But now you're stuck with, 10 vehicle payments, 10 insurance payments, 10 sets of tools, all these things. If you can't sustain that level of work, there's no way you could get ahead, right? You could be making $8,000 or $9,000 a month just in car payments. Right. Whereas as us, we're, incurring one car payment at a time. Once it's paid off, we can get another one and just kind of, keep our expenses pretty low. And then, obviously as the more vans are out and about and doing stuff, our capabilities are higher, we're able to do more stuff. We're taking on bigger projects. We're driving further distances to do stuff because we have more manpower. And it's just, man, it's growing. It's crazy. It's like exponential growth.
Right. Well, and I think one of the biggest steps that, a lot of entrepreneurs make is that, you're willing to put in the time, the sweat equity, and, the quote, work for free in a sense. Right. I mean, you get money, but that leap to bringing other people into that vision, going out there and saying, hey, yeah, I'll hire you, without, necessarily possibly knowing how long that's sustainable, right?
Right. I mean,
a lot of people like to plan, a long time out and say, here's, a year's worth of revenue that's going to, cover this expense. Or they want that instant gratification and overnight and buy the, $1 million type thing and then not have the cash flow to sustain it. What's the advice when people are looking for that growth to step out, whether you got a side hustle or whether you want to start something, what's the mindset or the thinking or the decision points that you're looking at when you're like, okay, this is bigger than just me. I need some other people help. How am I going to do it?
Yeah, I mean, I really honestly, I lucked into some people. I had some contacts that I know, whether it was like, just through a referral of a friend. I mean, my main guy, Alex. I mean, the guy was like working in a restaurant. He's had a lot of different kind of jobs. Nothing like he was good at it, but it was for him. It wasn't personally fulfilling, And I said, hey, man, like we have this opportunity. I can't guarantee you. I don't know. I think it's gonna do great, right? And I mean, this guy took a leap, and he was, the first few months. I mean, we weren't making that much. We're, like I said, our goal was like a few $100s a month, and then a week, and then all of a sudden, between him and I had like some of my other friends and they're college students, and so they have a little more flexibility here and there. When we were first starting, so we didn't have a full schedule. We could book stuff whenever, and I mean, they bought in like, hey, you know what? This is our business too. Like, this is my future. The better job we do, because they work on percentage. They're like, hey, man, like I'll work 7 days a week. I'll take the job at 7 p.m. I'll get there at 7 a.m. to set up a ladies' garage sale. That's what we did this morning. I mean, you got to get those people, and they're like, hey, they take ownership. They're like, just as much as the company's successful, like it's direct reflecting on them. They're getting paid very well. I mean, and this guy, he's probably made at least 4 or 5 times more than he's ever made working in any restaurant, working with us. And he likes what he does. That's the other thing that's really bigger. You're willing to do what it takes when you're personally invested, when you have to stay, when you're getting the returns, you're getting, I mean, our business, like yesterday, they were just telling me they walked in somewhere and somebody sees our guys and they go, oh my gosh, you guys are Park Ridge Pickups. Wow. Like we hear about you everywhere. Like now we've finally seen you. And it's cool. It's like, dude, like you're part of that from the beginning too. I mean, you're just as much part of it as I am. I mean, I'm in charge of, obviously, finance and different things. But without them doing a great job and doing what they're supposed to do and being on time and going above and beyond for all the customers, like all the recognition that we're getting, like it's for everybody. It's not, Kyle had a great idea and it's all him. Like, I mean, I think we're all just as important.
Right. So no, that's awesome. Well, and a lot of the times, I mean, we get a lot of big time, startup, people out there that get the headlines, right? And they're out there, and everybody sees that level, and it's hard to relate. Sometimes it's like, well, I'm not going to go create the next, Google or the next, high growth startup in town or whatever. I don't even know how do you get there, right? And so I think bringing it back down to reality of those people didn't get there overnight either, right? And so and that they're you started on a lunch break, and just a couple $100 more a month, right? Just as a side thing, like, hey, I've got some time, I've got some resources, let's put them to work. And that is how some of the best businesses are built, right? Because I mean, to your point, I mean, you're able to absorb something like COVID-19 that most competitors around the area weren't able to absorb, and not only have the one business but the 2 businesses. Now this is all going great, you're scaling and all this, and then I guess let's for those that don't know, Kyle had a major dirt bike accident earlier this year, and Kyle, tell from your perspective what happened, but then also just the impact that's changed life around you, because I mean this story is the ultimate inspiration.
It's an interesting one, man. I thought a year ago as I was scaling our business, I go, man, I've been working super hard. Like, I'm finally going to put myself in a position to take some time off. I don't have to work every day. Like, this is great. I can go on vacations. I can take a month off, right? I don't care. So I go for a dirt biking trip with one of my buddies, and just a freak accident, brand new bike, just humongous jump. The motor just grenades right in the air. And, those of don't know, on dirt bikes, they're manual transmission. When the motor stops, the wheels stop, and pretty much instantly break right over the handlebars about 50 feet, and splat right on the ground. And ended up, I woke up. They're putting me on a stretcher, and ended up, letting them know I can't feel my legs. I couldn't move it. I couldn't breathe. My lungs were filling up. I ended up breaking 26 bones, had 11 rib fractures. My collarbone was broken in 4 pieces, collapsed lung, tore my pec off the bone. And the biggest one, obviously, was spinal cord injury, to where, life changed a lot. So, I got a helicopter ride to Birmingham, Alabama, emergency surgeries, and 6 weeks in the hospital. 13 of those days were in the ICU. And, you're sitting there going, man, like, a lot of stuff's going to change. I can't work. I can't lift weights, can't run, couldn't even walk, couldn't stand up, couldn't go to the bathroom by myself. Tubes in your nose, drain tubes in your lungs, like IVs everywhere. And it was pretty rough, man. So, we took that, and, I'm just not really somebody who's going to give up. I told him I was going to walk out of the hospital, and I did. It was pretty slow. It was pretty rough, but I did it. But my workflow and productivity, as far as from a physical aspect, is much less. So, we're able to kind of switch what we were doing gears a little bit with the business, to where I'm a little bit more of an administrative role between both businesses, and, still stay afloat and actually still grow. So that's been, pretty awesome, I would say, despite the circumstances.
Oh, yeah, completely. We all have struggles in life, mental, physical, whatever it may be. You're hit overnight with a extreme challenge, where, I've, watched the journey on the Facebook page and everything, and seeing just, relearning to walk again. Right.
Right.
The stuff that once was second nature, not even a thought in your mind, your subconscious is controlling it, to now it's a conscious decision. And then, to your point, you've got 2 businesses that you want to stay operational and have a livelihood that you built and enjoyed the fruits of the labor. And then you're dealt with this. And I think, one of the most admirable things, it's easy to check out there, right? And just say, you know what, screw it. I'm never going to see any of that. Give it all in. And, my life is just, resorted to this, whether it's bed or wheelchair, or, I won't walk again. You have the complete opposite mindset. And it goes back to, your competition, days. I'm sure, that's a part of who you are, but, overcoming that, and not only, I would say you're thriving in the recovery. The speed at which you've been able to accomplish things has been phenomenal. Where does that drive, or that mindset come from, each day?
Yeah. I know, like, as from football, in high school, I was pretty good. Obviously, naturally, much more athletic, stronger, faster than most people. But then, you also have to put the work ethic in, and it's, that work ethic mentality. I know, from football, I've tore my knee. I've had, a few surgeries. I've hurt my neck, like, various things. And every time, it's kind of, you're going to get up, I'm going to rehab, I'm going to get better, I'm going to get back on the field, I'm going to help the team, I'm going to do whatever I can. And obviously this is a little bigger than like a broken arm, but my mindset, I remember laying in the hospital. The first couple of days, the surgeon told my family, good luck. He's like, and they're saying, what, like, what's going to happen? And he goes, I mean, he's lucky to be alive. He went through a 4-level spinal fusion with a broken spinal cord with one lung, and, you know, all the other trauma that I had. So just that was, you know, very up in the air. And, you know, I get to rehab, and after 2 weeks, I mean, I could wiggle my toe. That's about it. And, I mean, my mom was in the rehab. My girlfriend, Hannah, was in there. They were, you know, every day. I mean, we were doing whatever we thought we could help. And, you know, it's just one of those things where it's like, you know, if I didn't do that, I mean, my rehab, they told me less than 1% chance I'd ever stand. That's it. Or like, first it was like surviving, you know, and then you kind of get to the point where like 2 weeks later, I'm, you know, you're getting some of the tubes pulled out of you. You're getting through the surgeries. You're able to talk. You're able to move a little bit. But I mean, I still couldn't roll over in the bed. I mean, it took 3 people to roll me over, all these kind of things. You know, and I just remember waking up one day and I said, man, you know, like I'm going to survive. Like, let's see, like, I'm going to get up. I'm going to sit up in a chair. I'm going to start trying to do what I can do. And then, you know, you kind of go from that, like survival mode to like, I'm in a rehab mode. And then you get past the rehab mode, which, I mean, I'm kind of transitioning to, you know, man, I'm going to get better. Like, what am I going to do? Like, I'm going to work out. I'm going to lift weights. I'm going to, you know, I might not be able to run. I still can't feel my leg. The other day, I just got on my mountain bike. I rode 2 miles or 2 hours. I mean, just riding around town, and they're like, damn, like, how'd you do that? I don't know, man, just keep doing, you know, every day. It's like, you know what? It's going to be hard. It's going to suck. Like, but I could either be in a wheelchair the rest of my life, or I can get up and do what I'm doing. And I think, you know, obviously I've been pretty successful with the rehab, and, you know, there's been a lot of fortunate, you know, doctors, and I mean, the medical staff there was like unbelievable. You know, I owe them a lot. And, yeah, man, just, I mean, it's kind of crazy. You think about it and just like, man, like if you saw someone else do it, you know, you're like, damn, man, that's rough. But then, and then you're like, shit, I did that, you know, like,
right.
I can do it. And, yeah, man, it's tough, but, you know, I just think you just can't give up, you know, whether it hurts today and you don't feel like it, whether it's going to work, whether it's, you know, for me, I mean, it's been a big personal responsibility. I'm like, man, you know, like I got a lot of people that rely on me. Like, this is their career. Like, they're feeding their families. Like, this is like, I got to get up. I got stuff to do. You know, and I was able to kind of, you know, tap into that, I think, and just keep pushing forward, you know. And like I said, the people around me it's been great, you know. And sometimes it's, you know, you have like people that would say, hey, you know, man, if that happened to my boyfriend or, you know, my husband, I don't know if I could stay around, and I don't know if I could do all those kind of things, you know. And I've been fortunate, like, you know, a lot of people have stepped up, whether it's been like, hey, you got to do nursing stuff. Hey, you got to, you know, like, I'm going to go for a walk. I couldn't even walk. My friends had to come over to take me for like a dog so I could hold on to their arm so I could like drag my other leg around the block, you know, to do my rehab. So, you know, it's been super fortunate, you know, as far as that, just with the recovery aspect.
Right. Well, yeah, no, I mean, we got comments coming in here, you know, about inspirations, and I mean, truly it is, you know, it's inspiring, you know, for those that have watched the journey. But, you know, to your point, you know, the support system, the stuff that you have around you. I mean, that was one of the, you know, kind of the questions, knowing that you had the businesses. It's like, man, what's going to happen? You know, like, watching that from, you know, outside looking in, and seeing your staff, and the people that are part of the business with you, as you alluded to, right? The ownership, you know, that, hey, this is ours too. Standing up and, you know, essentially stepping in, right, and taking that over. I mean, I think that speaks to the quality of the individual that you are, you know, as the leader of the team, but also, you know, what you built and the culture that you've built at those businesses. So, you know, kudos for that. But how did you do that? How is that something where, you know, that they can step in and take the place of the leader?
Yeah, I mean, man, I remember, you know, it was kind of crazy because, like, you know, obviously my friends at the track, you know, I was there actually just with one of my other friends on vacation. So they called, you know, and my mom and Hannah, and they flew down like, you know, last second flight. It was like 2 feet of snow in Chicago. Like, it was a mess. And I mean, like, it's crazy. Like, you wouldn't even think, you know, like someone's like, hey man, like, I mean, I have 2 dogs in my house, dude. My friends came over for 6 weeks every single day. They walked the dogs, they stayed with them, they fed them. Like, dude, like, I mean, that's you would never think, you know, you're like, shit, I'm just gone. Everyone's gone. Like, what are you gonna do? You know, like that was another thing, you know. And then the guy at the gym, you know, Brian, he was like, hey man, like, dude, I'm gonna take care of everything. Like, I'll make sure, you know, the floor is clean, trash is out, like, need paper towels, whatever, I'll do it. Like, don't worry, you got your own things. And then Alex, you know, with the pickups, he's like my right hand man. And, you know, he calls and he's like, dude, like, holy crap, you know, this is terrible. Like, you know, you need to like worry about yourself. And this dude, I'm talking like, he went from like working like a lot to like 24 hours a day working. I mean, he was like taking every phone call, doing the scheduling, booking the jobs, getting the crews, making sure they're done, cashing the checks. Like, I mean, man, this guy, you know, and it's like, you know, those are the guys you need, you know, like they're around you, or ladies too, you know. I mean, people, you know, whether it's like bringing food to my house, they're like, hey, you know, you can't get out, you can't do anything. You know, I have friends that, you know, you get back to work and they're off work or whatever, and they're giving me a ride to rehab appointments. They're showing up to my house. And, you know, a lot of those people, they were like my friends. I mean, I call them my friends too, because they really are. They're like my clients from the gym. They're like, hey man, like, dude, like, what do you need? Like, you know, you need a ride to rehab. And I was doing 5 hours a day of rehab. So, I mean, it wasn't just like, you know, it was like drive 30 minutes there, come back in 5 hours, pick me up. You know, I mean, I wasn't driving. I couldn't really make food. I couldn't, you know, do a lot of those things. I mean, you know, I have to still use the catheter and go to the bathroom. And I mean, that's another thing. It's like, I'm trying to bring awareness to, and people think, oh, you know, you're walking, like that's good. You can't feel your foot, but like, that's, you know, whatever, you're fine. Right. And it's like, no, like, that's just what you see, you know, like you see somebody walking, but like, you don't realize, like, I mean, the spinal cord, I mean, it affects my body, like to be able to even perceive temperatures, you know, like, you know, I could be hot and I go outside and I'm really hot or I'm really cold, you know, and that's just sort of things like my body's got to refigure out after what I had happen. And, I don't know, it's just, you know, you treat people well, man. I think that's it. You know, you take, you know.
Yeah. Well, and I think, you know, another admirable thing there is the Zelazny humor that you can bring into the situation, right? And I mean, that speaks back to mindset. I mean, it's easy to look at, you know, the stuff that you're dealing with in the most negative of terms, right? And the way that you've flipped it in your head. And again, knowing you from, you know, the days, I mean, I know that's how you've always been, and, you know, just the casual, the sense of humor, you know, that you have, you know, with it, but the positivity, like, hey, you know, we can face all the obstacles in the world. And it's all about, you know, perspective, you know, how you look at it. And, you know, if you're going to, you know, look at this as the ultimate hill to climb and that it's never going to be, you know, the same, then that's what you're going to deal with. Right. But your perspective's been like, okay, it's new thing to push out here and put up with. And then not only am I going to, you know, stand again, you know, I'm gonna walk, I'm gonna run, and I see you back, you know, doing stuff in the gym, whether it's twerking or whether it's lifting. You know, but you're able to, you know, bring that positivity to it. So, I mean, I think that's, you know, probably one of those most, you know, admirable things that's contagious, right? It's contagious. And so it alludes to the culture that you built there at the organizations. But then, you know, I think the next journey, right, is sharing that, right? And so, you know, it's still building the businesses and allowing the businesses to be, you know, done in a different way with your leadership. But then, you know, what's next? You know, for you, you know, what's
I mean,
how's this changed the perspective of what comes after this?
Yeah, I mean, I've been thinking about that a lot too, you know, and like you said, you know, with my attitude, I mean, man, you know, I was in spinal care rehab, man. It's nobody there is in good shape. I'm the best shape dude there. I mean, it's motorcycle accidents, it's gunshots, it's fell off the roof, it's hit by cars. I mean, these people are really bad. And I'm talking like, people look at me and I'm like walking out, these people aren't going to walk. They are never going to walk out, and they have a good attitude and they're there and they show up to work every day and work out. And you're going, man, like I had an accident where I'm going to get better from. Like these people, I don't, they could be saying that about me too, but, and they have a good attitude and they're not, down about it and they're not complaining about it and everyone's just there trying to get better. And that's like a pretty cool thing to see where you're able to say, hey, you know what? Like, I'm not the only one. Like, don't feel bad for me. Like, dude, I know 20 other people that, have the same, if not worse situation. And they have, I can drive around. They can't drive around. They won't be able to drive around. And stuff like that. So, I don't know. I just think that's kind of a big part of like, not feeling sorry for yourself and that part of thing. And then going forward, like this is something that it's, very, I mean, if I was watching somebody else, I'd say, man, that's crazy. Like, I can't believe that happened. Like that guy was really messed up. Like, can't believe, you went from all this stuff in 5 months, you're back to work and some capacity, and answering the phones and doing a lot of things like that. And, for me, it's really been, what is the big next thing? And is it, I think getting the message out there about, hey, like I was a college athlete, a very successful college athlete. I raced dirt bikes like for fun in my 30s, which, some people would say is kind of dumb, but, and you go from this super active person to having these things happen to you. And, it can happen to anybody, and you always say, oh man, it could happen to you. Like, what would you do if this happened? What would you do if that happened? And you think, you never think it's going to happen to you. And then it does. And, kind of talking a little bit about, preparing yourself financially, for that, whether it's saving money and not incurring a lot of personal debt in case something does happen, whether it's, a sustainable business that you can make passive money on, like while you're not necessarily at work every day, like that's pretty huge. Is it to do public speaking to kids, about, things that can happen and you're just treating people better, man. Like, honestly, you think like imagine if I was a dick to everybody and everyone hated me and this happened, like, be like, oh man, that sucks. Screw that guy. Good for him. He had it coming to him, No, like everybody was like, hey, you know what? This guy's helped me out. He's done a lot of stuff. He's employing my kids, like whatever. And they really rallied behind that and helped me out a lot. So I think, there's a lot of lessons that you can learn from, being in a situation where you're like, hey, you know what? Like a lot of bad things happen, but the world moves on,
Right. Yeah. Well, no, I mean, we pick role models, leaders, celebrities, or those in our lives to inspire, right? And you're definitely one of those people. I mean, it's not I think a lot within this sector, to your point, have been the football star athletes, right? Mm-hmm. That get injured in a spinal injury, or the celebrity gymnast or something, the same thing, right? Mm-hmm. And then that's what's publicized, and then their journey, and everybody, they get the return to the stands, in front of 50,000 fans, and there's everyday people, that deal with this same thing and have the mindset and have their own network for inspiration and being able to share that and get that out there, because I can't personally say I've ever broken 26 bones at the same time, or had a spinal cord injury, and looking at you having that, it's like, wow, my issues, my problems aren't as bad, and to be able to see the how you've overcome that. And to your point, 5 months, right? I mean, the journey that you've paved here, road to recovery, could sound like it's like years in transition here. This is 5 months ago.
Yeah,
you're back to this, so
it's quick.
Yeah, I mean, that's I think, as for one, and I think, the comments here today, I mean, enforce that, get out there, tell the story, that, it is inspiring, and is going to help, change people, whether small or large. So, find the platform and do it, how to build stuff. So.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think there's definitely, there's definitely something there, right? I mean, you think, man, like this is a good story. Like there's a lot of things that you could share and help people with, and whether it inspires them to, open their own business and because they hate their job, whether it's for them to, maybe they know somebody that happened and they said, man, you know what, maybe I should reach out to that person. That I'd probably appreciate it. You could have that. You could have a lot of things. So it's, whether it's, I've been I don't know if it's writing like, you could write a book, you could write some, sort of short story columns, and publish somewhere, or whether it's just more video, video stuff. And, obviously this is a little more shareable on social media and stuff like that, where, how many people it's like, oh, I've seen that video of that thing that happened. Like that was great. So that's a big avenue too now. So, that is a goal of something to organize and to work towards to do. I just kind of have to, like anything, you have to dial in, your brand, your market, what you're going to do and kind of stick to and how you're going to do it. Right now traveling all over the place and doing that kind of thing obviously is not really a great option, with the medical situation and stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean, the video aspect is super useful.
Yeah, when Hannah said here that, you're taking advantage of your time away from the physical labor to focus on more of that growth and expansion. So, I mean, having that now that, okay, I'm not going to be the guy out here moving the couch on, a Thursday at 7 p.m.
Right.
How has that changed, perspective on the business and where do you see, both? I mean, Chicago Family Fit, one location. Is there more? Is it, serve its purpose there? Parkridge Pickups obviously has an opportunity to grow in pockets, whether it's all in just Illinois and Chicagoland area, or that's something that everybody, uses daily, all around the country. So how's your mindset shifted and what's your now kind of vision for those?
Yeah. So, the gym obviously has been a huge shift, right? I mean, I was the guy. I was training the clients and they're my friends and I'm helping people out and working out and rehabbing. That's over pretty much, I mean, I'm not going to be the guy that's lifting weights and unloading the racks and spotting anyone that's lifting weight. I just can't do it. So that has turned to say, hey, you know what? Like I have, clients that come into the gym, they like it. It's been here a long time. I need to find the right trainers to come help and to work out that have the same vision as I do. And I have, a couple of those right now. And they've sort of dispersed my clients, but they're out, they're working, they're bringing in their own clients, they're meeting new people. So it's really provided them an opportunity essentially to have, a business where they're, able to pay me rent for using the stuff and the equipment and the space, but then not having to necessarily incur a humongous, business expense, financially and just, mentally, responsibility of opening a gym. And they just train their clients and I'll handle all the paperwork and the city stuff and, pay the utilities and all that kind of thing. The Parkridge Pickups, man, that's a very franchisable business model. I mean, it's such a great idea. There's always people that need a lot of stuff. People are getting older. Whether it's a time thing, whether it's just a physical situation thing where they can't do it. There's a lot of people that need help, and if you can reach them and find out how to do that effectively and do a good job, obviously, that's something that we'd really plan on going with the expansion. And I think one thing too is when you're kind of the guy at your business, whether it's like, car detailing, whether it's a gym, whether it's an accounting firm and everyone's going to you and you're just running nonstop, it's hard for you to kind of to look up and then look forward. You're kind of like down in the trenches every day doing everything here and there. You don't have the vision. It's hard to do more. You're just kind of grinding away. And I think that's been a big thing. I've had obviously time to step back and say, hey, you know what? Like I have a lot of people looking at me. This is their job. This is how they support themselves. Like, what do I need to do to keep us going? What expansion do we need to do? What, whether it's different services, whether it's more vehicles, whether it's trying to hire the right people, as we talked about earlier. You can't just have anyone. You need the specific person that's going to fit with your culture and brand and, represent what you're doing. And just kind of take your time and to invest it into doing those sort of things versus just, like you said, be the guy moving the couches and lifting pianos and swimming pools and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, and this is, kind of forced that onto, that different, shift in thinking, right. And focus area. And so, hopefully that leads to big things. I mean, I think you got a network out there, support, and obviously, the story and the journey that you've been on here the last 5 months, can help lead into that. Right. So, anybody that's out there that, wants to help Kyle grow, feel free to connect and yeah, I'd love to see it, grow beyond, what it is today, and happy to help in any way that we can here. So, but let's see, got a fan out there. Hey, Sean, good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. So, but yeah, so I guess, just closing thoughts, on, whether it be small business, life, what's your thinking now moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, I think you kind of have to prepare yourself for the worst thing that can happen, man. Honestly, and if you're expanding, you got to say, well, if this doesn't work, what else can I do? What else do I have going on? You can't be all invested into one thing. And whether it's, you see people with real estate or with, different businesses and they're investing. Once you get one thing going, it's like you got to have sustainable, routes of income coming in, whether even if it's a little bit, whether it's a lot, like you got to have something going on. If you're just somebody that's maybe, settling, and you just take a job and you're like, oh, this is my job, whatever, nothing can happen. And then that business closes, maybe you get fired, maybe you get laid off. And then what? When maybe you get in an accident, like my situation, mine was a dirt bike. But I mean, I'm in rehab with people that, a stray bullet shot a kid in the neck. Dude's paralyzed, he's got a lot of problems, like, what do you do? Or, it could be cancer. I mean, I was in there, there's 2 people that I know. One lady, she had a brain tumor. She's 26, 27. Another guy, he's my age, 36. Tumor in his spine, bam, can't feel your legs. Like you got to be sort of like always thinking ahead. Like, what if these things happen to me? Like, how can I be sustainable? How can I be productive? How am I going to still pay the bills? Like, and once you start thinking about that, you kind of get out of like the day-to-day scale of like, how can I make a few dollars doing this or save a few dollars doing that? You're like, what can I do on a bigger scale that's bigger than me that I can do? And if I'm not the one doing it all the time, like it's still okay. And I mean, and I've helped. I mean, one of my guys, he worked with me, Connor, and he started. And I mean, man, he's got his own little side business going. And and then people are like, oh man, aren't you, doesn't that piss you off? You got like your guys left, and
right,
making this money. And I'm like, dude, I helped him. Like, no, like, dude, great. Like, I mean, like we had an idea. Like he maximized it. He's doing great. Like he's providing for himself. Like, dude, more power to you, man. Like, that's awesome. Like, and that's, probably like, from the team perspective, it's like I want to see people around me too. Like, I want them to be successful. Like, why not?
Yep.
You want to see everybody doing things, and if it's something you're interested in, and
yeah,
succeeding at it,
No, completely. Yeah. So Hannah says always bet on yourself.
Yeah, I did tell her that. I said, if you work for a company or whatever, I said I would always bet on myself doing a better job for me than someone else doing a job for me. So,
right. Well, Z, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for joining us. I know we all live busy lives and everything, but I know whether it's the Westville South crew, the Ashland U crew, the Chicago crew. There's a lot of people out there, following the story, whether they're, commenting and liking or whether they're just watching. And it's been a true inspiration. So mad props, for the mindset and what you've had to overcome and what you, still are going to face. But, kudos to where it's headed, because, I think big things are headed. And if this inspired you, share this out there. Let Kyle probably eventually be, motivational speaking somewhere. So, share this out there. Help connect with Kyle. So you can email him and follow the Chicago Family Fit Facebook pages and social media out there, the Park Ridge Pickups social media and stuff out there, and you can connect and follow along that way as well. So, but true pleasure, Kyle. Best of luck, and we'll stay engaged here. So, and let us know as a community how we can help.
All right, cool. Thanks, Steve.
So, take care, guys.
All right,
everybody have a good rest of the Friday, and thanks for joining us here at Fireside Fridays. Remember, action equals traction. So go out there and execute.